I asked the guys over on Instagram what you wanted my next tutorial to be, and it was a very close tie between hands and shoes. So I'm gonna get to shoes eventually, but hands did win. So without further ado, here's my hand tutorial. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Hands are something that I've always struggled with. They're something I'm sure you struggled with, otherwise why would you be watching this video? And they're not something I consider myself an expert in, but a lot of people want to know how I draw my hands, so I'm going to be sharing that with you today in this video. I feel like my tutorials start the same way every single time, and it's not as hard as you think it is, and you should use references, break things down into their basic shapes, and all of that fun stuff. So be sure that you're doing that, and if you're new to drawing hands or whatever it is you're trying to learn to draw, I would suggest having a picture reference or a real life object reference for whatever you're drawing, because it'll just make these steps a little bit easier. And luckily, since we're drawing hands, we have references. We have your own, you have your own two hands. So that's something that would do it. I use my hands a lot while I'm drawing things and also while I'm drawing hands. If you just have a reference with you, it'll just make these steps a little bit easier, so I would highly recommend doing that. And there are also different types of hands for you to look at. As you can see, I have two of them. These are what my hands look like. Your hands probably look different. And there are also some other hands that you can draw, so I'm going to show you what those hands look like. So these are my hands, and then I also have those, which I call my second pair of hands. So when I said I had two, that's actually a lie. I have four. Those are the other two. So I'm sure you have them too, so you can use those. These are also some different kinds of hands you can draw. Can I see them, sir? You have this hand. These hands look a little different from mine, but they're here, and same with you, young lady. Those are some hands that you can draw. Yeah. Right there. Here's some more hands that you can draw. These hands look a little similar to those hands I just showed you. They're a little bit different though. As you can see, they have like different sizes of their hands and whatnot. Here we can find some other hands. Yeah, that was a good hand stretch. Here's some hands. Let me see your hand, god damn it. Here's some other ones. Again, these ones look a little similar to the last ones, but they are different sizes and colors, so be sure you pay attention to that. See if there's anything in here. Are there any hands in here? Are there any hands in here? Yes! I just want to. So yeah, there's a lot of different types of hands. Be sure to pay attention to their different shapes, their different sizes, different colors, because no two hands are alike. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is proportions. I think this is one thing that people really struggle with a lot because they don't know how big the hand is and like the finger to palm ratio. So I'm going to show you a little trick to help you remember those. So you're gonna take your ruler, right? And it's just all about measurements. Everything is science and math. They said you would never use math, but they're wrong. So here's math. Measure your hand. You got the full length of it like this. Get this measurement. Get your palm measurement, and then get the measurement of your fingers. And then everybody's hand is different, right? So your measurements are gonna be different from my measurements. So make sure you get those, and also get a measurement of your paper, because that is going to affect how you draw your hands. So you're going to make a math equation. Now, I have a math equation. I'm not gonna share it with you guys. You guys can figure that out on your own. Plus, because of the different hand sizes and paper sizes, yours is gonna be different, but it's basically just to find a ratio of hand to paper. It's a completely foolproof thing. It's something that I use a lot, and it is going to change between your hand and what hand you're drawing, how big you're drawing, what paper you're using, but just draw the same thing all the time. Just draw the same type of person, same size paper, same hands. Just draw the same thing over and over again, and your equation is going to be foolproof, I promise you. When you're drawing a hand, you need to remember all of the different parts of the hand. When you're looking at reference pictures of hands and looking at your own hands and looking at all of the different parts and assessing all of those, be sure you're looking at hands, because they can be very confused with other stuff. It's very easy to confuse them with things like handles. But you don't want to be looking at handles while you're drawing. That's something that gets me a lot. I always confuse the two, so be sure you're looking at hands. It's also very easily confused with something being handy. I am giving you some pretty handy tips but don't look up handy things because there's a lot of different handy things not revolving to hands. Just be sure you're looking at hands strictly and your second pair of hands. Don't look at anything else. So, when you look at the different parts of a hand, I mentioned we have palms and we have fingers, but there's more to hands than just palms and fingers. We also have skin. I feel like skin is something people don't pay a lot of attention to. It's something that people often forget in their drawings of hands. So be sure to draw your hands with skin, because as we've established on this channel, I like my women with skin, so be sure that you are doing that. Along with those parts of the hands, there's also screws. You use the screws to... I was just talking about this. I did it again. I confused them with handles. So, as you can see, they can be very easily confused with each other. They just look so similar, they sound so similar, but hands don't have screws. Those are handles. And these two, these are a part of the handles. Again, you can see how I would get them confused with one another, but hands don't have screws. Those are handles. So just ignore that last part. See, as you can see, that's something I still struggle with. It's a very difficult thing in my life. It's becoming a problem, really, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure a lot of you guys do that too. Now, after you've assessed your hand, you can draw the hand, hopefully, with your hands. It's all coming full circle now. And here's the thing about hands. There's two of them. Not like your other hands. I'm talking about just your hands. You also have two of your other hands, but these hands, you also have two of them, maybe. Maybe you only have one, maybe you only have three. I don't know your life, but I have two, so I always draw two hands. And then, like I said, it's just a matter of breaking them down into shapes. And then if you just follow these steps, your hands can look as good as this. Like, I mean, yeah, I get a lot of compliments on the hands that I draw. And honestly, I think I'm starting to see it. Like, I feel like I'm really good at drawing hands. That's some line art. Then we take my eraser, erase that, and yeah, it can be a lot easier than you think. I feel like people tend to overthink it, but I mean, just follow these steps and you can, well, maybe you can't be as good as me, because I feel like my hands are just on a different level. Like, I don't think that you can really achieve this level of skill. I'm sure you can come close to it. Also the skin, we cannot forget the skin. Let's not forget the skin. We need to have our hands with skin. Do you like your hands with skin?
No.
Really?
I like my hands skinless. I like my pizza bones.
Listen, I'm filming a tutorial right now, and in that tutorial I said that skin is very important and people forget it, so you can't just come in here and say that you like your hands skinless.
Well, you asked.
Okay, but you're supposed to lie. You're supposed to say that you prefer them with skin, because I'm gonna have to edit this part of the video out if you don't.
Shut up.
If you don't, loser. Listen, I'm just asking you to do this one thing. I know you don't like me, but I need you to do this for me.
No.
Why not?
No, because you're not paying me.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm broke. What do you want me to do?
Well, you don't pay me, so until you pay me, I'm not going to listen to you.
Okay, but what if I pay you in a different way? What if I pay you in, like, hand massages or something?
Ew. I want your crusty hands on mine.
Listen, how are they supposed to take this tutorial seriously if you're coming in here contradicting everything I'm saying?
Well, pay me.
So, skin is very important.
No, it's not.
Oliver, when you're editing this, cut this part out, okay? Slap some shading on these hands. This is really something that just helps your hands come to life.
No.
Just add some shading.
No.
Don't even worry about a light source. It doesn't even matter if your markers are dying. Like, they're... And it also doesn't matter if the nib falls off. Like, just do you. I said that all hands look... All hands look... Earlier in the... Listen, I'm just really trying my hardest, okay? I know I'm not qualified, and I know I'm not a professional, but these people are asking me for my help, so I'm trying my hardest to help them.
Well, it's not working.
Yeah, because nothing I do is nothing
I can't hear you.
nothing I do is good enough, is it?
No.
Nothing I ever do will ever be good enough.
No.
I'm just a failure.
Yeah.
Oliver, you can cut this part out. Cut this
What
part.
do you say? Are you gonna have a problem? Are you gonna have a problem?
No,
Are you
I'm
gonna have a problem?
So when you shade your skin like this, it just really helps make your drawing come to life. It just adds a lot of dimension, and it really makes it look like skin. And I feel like that's something that people don't focus enough on. Like I said, it's really important that your skin looks like skin. It's very easy to make it look like not skin. It can look like paper. It can look like lettuce if you color it weird. It's just try your best to make them look like skin. Lastly, we're going to add some white highlights, and then we're going to be done with the coloring section. And then I can show you guys my super secret tip for drawing hands. It's something I'm surprised that no one's really talking about. Like, when I was younger, when I was a young blossoming artist, before I achieved such talent that you're witnessing right now, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm setting too high of a standard, but when I was in your shoes, struggling to draw hands, and before they turned into this, I did watch a lot of hand tutorials, and this is a secret that I had to find out myself, because no one ever talks about it, and I feel like it's just such a missed opportunity, and I feel like it'll just really help a lot of people. So once I figured this out, and like once it clicked, it was like, the answer is so obvious. So with your hands, like, you wash your hands, right? It's very, very important. So like, if we wash our hands in real life, why don't we wash our hands in our drawings? It really puts the finishing touches on them. So I would suggest getting your favorite hand soap. As you can see, this one doesn't have a lot of soap in it because it's something I use in all of my drawings. It's something this is probably my most used art supply. Every single time I draw a person, which is most of the time, I draw hands, and so there's hands in almost all of my drawings, and whether it's a sketch or a finished illustration, I always do this to all of my hands because it really puts the finishing touches on it. So you're just gonna take some soap, you gotta put it on the hands, make sure you get both of them in there, and then you gotta get some water, because soap is no good without water, right? And then once you get that on, you gotta wash them. And it really, like, it just does such wonders for the hands. And again, I don't know why people don't talk about this. Like, this is the most helpful tip that I've found, drawing hands. And look, it's like a photograph. Like, I can't believe that I had to figure that out on my own. I know that even though you have my secret now, you probably still can't reach this level. But just practice and follow all of the tips in this video, and maybe you too can draw hands that look like this. At least a fraction of this, because let's face it, these are the best hands anyone's ever drawn. So this is just scratching the surface of hands, and there's a lot that I haven't gone over in this video. So if you liked this video, or if you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up, and I will make a part 2 going into the deeper structures of the hands. I can talk about bones, because, you know, hands have bones. I can talk about the intricacies of fingernails and just all of that fun stuff. So if you are interested in that, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what the most helpful part of this video is. As always, I'm going to end this video with just saying to practice, because that is the most important thing. And of course, get yourself some soap, because I mean, it's so important. And also, it just keeps your drawings nice and healthy. Like, it keeps away all of those pesky viruses. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. It's really important. If you're going to be healthy, you need to have your drawings be healthy, so be sure to do that. Anyways, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I post new videos every single Wednesday, so you can subscribe if you are new here. I would really appreciate that. I make really helpful tutorials, as you can see. I just know that this is going to help a lot of people, so I hope that it helped you. And if you would like to follow me on social media, those will be on screen now and linked in the description box below. Follow me on Instagram is probably the best place, but if you can't follow me there, it's totally fine. There will also be some videos on screen now and linked in the iCard for you to check out if you want. Maybe some of my other tutorials, but I feel like this is the most helpful tutorial on my channel so far. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.